Everybody out there, hello, Kelly. Hello, hello,
Hello, Miss
Hello.
Annalisa.
hello, hello. So, unfortunately, I cannot stream this to YouTube because Ryan is not here and I don't have access to do that. But we do have this recording to the cloud, and everyone who is here, I wanted to just welcome our training team. We have our Director of Training Systems, Lo Maynard, here, who's been amazing in growing our learning database and so forth over the few years, and also Kelly Bojarski, who is a senior trainer with Inside Real Estate. We figured it'd be a lot of fun just to speak to what type of training and learning resources we have so you can get to know our team, our mission, and what's happening in 2021. So, with that said, I am going to pass it to you, ladies. And if people have questions on specific articles or information, I'll try to grab those and link people in the chat. So, away you go, ladies.
Awesome. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to slide past. Oh, you know what? These slides are way too fancy. I'm going to slide past these slides introducing us since you did a fantastic job, Annalisa. So I'm just going to bop through these. There's Kelly, beautiful Kelly, and our fearless leader, Annalisa, and some funny facts. So I'm going to skip to today's agenda, but for anyone who has previously been on the Success Strategies webinars hosted by Ryan, Annalisa, and anyone else that has guested, you'll notice that I'm doing it a little differently today. As much as I love and appreciate the loosey-goosiness of other webinars, I need a little bit more structure just to keep myself on track and make it way more productive and beneficial for you guys.
Oh, come on.
So I have a little bit of an agenda. Otherwise, I'll be all over the place and nothing will get done.
You're showing us how it's done. Put it on a slide deck.
I hope. But I'll convert this to a doc per usual, and we'll post that where it usually is posted. So today's agenda is overview of resources. So like Annalisa said, we are happy to guest, Kelly and I, talking about your additional training and learning resources, and I'll explain the difference of those terms, at least how I think of them, and then we'll go into our support portal and our learning portal, and hopefully neither of those are new to anyone here. And then we'll talk about our live webinars like this one so that everyone knows what you have immediate on-demand access to. So let's go over here to our overview. So when I think of training versus learning, training is where someone is guiding you, whether that's you self-guiding or whether it's an actual specific training webinar with one of our trainers on, or a subject matter expert who guides you through how and why to use the different platforms and our tools. Learning, in my mind, is a little bit different, where it's resources that you can go to quickly, like our articles or one-off videos that kind of speak either high level about an idea or a topic, or a concept for how to apply one of our tools, or just tells you step by step, here's how to build a squeeze page, and here's the steps to build a landing page, and here's some suggestions for using it and things like that. So when I talk about training versus learning, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Does that make sense to you, Kelly or Annalisa?
No, it sure does, because sometimes you just need to go at your own pace. And the support portal has so many different articles, and sometimes there's video snippets, there's additional content here. So if you're up at the middle of the night, some Sunday evening, and we've all been there, where that's the only time you can do some training or some, some research. I like to think of the support portal as the Google for kvCORE. You can go in there and pretty much find anything you're looking for, versus training. That's where you've got somebody behind you, or an actual course that's helping you guide through that one particular subject matter.
Perfect. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks like that.
Yeah, no, I do for sure.
And then like Kelly said, the support portal has over 700 articles, which is a little crazy to me, but we have a really robust system and we have more than one platform. And you guys might be just on kvCORE or using some of our other tools or platforms. So we have an article on almost anything. We also, within the support portal, and I'll show all of this in a second as well, we have a core video library. So those standalone one-off videos that we both just mentioned, we're slowly growing that. You'll find some scattered within particular articles, and then the library specifically is just videos on specific topics. So I'll point that out. And then when we go into the learning portal, you'll see that we have over 20 courses available, and some of them are run by Ryan, some of them feature Annalisa, some of them feature Kelly as well on them, so you have a variety of people to learn from. We also have a couple of others that have helped us out with videos, so those courses are available, and we'll go through some of those as well. And then as a quick call out, we recently added completion certificates. So if anyone here is familiar with the Agent Success Plan, if your office admin or your brokerage requires, proof of completion that you went through your initial platform training so that they know you're set up properly and are going to be successful on it, you'll have a certificate now of completion to just email them or show them, or I don't know, print it out and put it on your wall. So that's a pretty cool aspect of it. And then we'll wrap up with live webinars. So hopefully everyone has noticed that I think last year, like mid last year, we added in a training calendar link into your kvCORE dashboard, and all of our live webinars and the registration links and the little synopsis of what we go over are all in that calendar. So we'll walk through that and give some tips on looking at that calendar, because sometimes Google has a different view than what we're normally used to for that particular one. So Kelly and I will go over some best practices for that. So let's go into the support portal first. I'm going to bring it up on my other screen and then jump into it over here. So let me just load it. It was loading earlier.
I think Google for kvCORE. This is where you go for answers when
Yes.
you're looking on your own.
Here we go. So let me dive into, actually, give me 2 seconds. I did this backwards, which is fine. Okay. Now let's do this. Let's go. So I'm in kvCORE, and I wanted to show how to get it from kvCORE. So you can type it in like I just did, and it's just help.insiderealestate.com. So that's the actual URL if you can't access kvCORE for some reason, or you just want to like jump straight to that, you can just enter that URL. But if you're in kvCORE, or if you have Core Listing Machine, or if you are in Core Present, or if you have access as an agent or an admin to Core Back Office, you'll see throughout all of our platforms that there is going to be a support and training tab, usually on the bottom left. And in kvCORE, if you hover over it, it kind of shows you all the different sections. So we have our support center, which we'll dive into, then our learning portal, and our webinar schedule is right there. So made it even easier to get to that calendar. So I'm just going to jump into the support center. And so this is going to be a landing page. So we basically took all of the highlights that agents have asked us about, admins have had questions on things, tools or features that we've wanted to highlight. We kind of threw them all on this one page. So if you want to look at something that's specific for marketplace. So if you are growing your team, you can jump in straight into the article about learning about core teams. If you haven't yet had a one-on-one coaching session with Annalisa or Ryan, you can learn more about that, and so on and so forth. So if you have anything additional to kvCORE, it's kind of all sectioned out.
I like that it's broken down by product.
Yes.
And that marketplace, I always tell people that marketplace is like the grocery store for kvCORE. So in the marketplace, if you're considering adding something into your already great kvCORE system, this is where you can go to learn about it without actually having to sign up for it.
Yeah.
So searching those marketplace articles is going to give you some insight to those add-ons. And since this is next level, you probably already have a lot of these features going. One thing to note on this, and Lo, I don't know if you want to highlight it or if you're planning to, is if you scroll all the way to the top, because it doesn't default to the top of the page, but
Yeah.
the top is where you can go to search all the articles.
Yes, you have this. that'll take you straight to that help.url. And then actually, that's a good point I wanted to call out underneath each section. So if you were jumping in and wanting to learn more about Marketplace or just see what's out there, so maybe you have 3 things in mind that you want to learn about, there's a link at the bottom of each section to see all of those types of articles. So you can see all Marketplace at once, you can see all kvCORE at once. But if you just want to jump straight to a list of everything in the entire knowledge base, you can just click this search all articles up here that Kelly just brought up, and that will open into the help section. And everything was loading within like 2 seconds right before I logged on. So
No, it's pretty quick.
So here are all of the articles at once, and just like that landing page that we were just on, it is also sectioned by product and platform. So you have kvCORE, Marketplace again, and then as you go down further, we have Core Present and -CMA called out specifically. We also have Nosy Neighbor and that collection. If you want to learn more about our mobile app, so the kvCORE app or the Open House app, which as a side plug, I love the Open House app. It's great. It makes open houses very easy and the admin work afterward. And then here's the video library that I was talking about. So there's a couple of them in there, and then keep your eye on it because we'll be growing and having a lot more videos. And if you're part of the Facebook group, you can very easily ping me or Kelly or Annalisa or Ryan and say, hey, I have an idea for this video. I would love it for you to walk through XYZ, and we can throw it in here for you.
And I did want to let you know, Lo, that typically when Ryan and I run these and then we have to open up like Facebook Ad Manager or the support portal, there is a little bit of a jig that's going to happen just due to Zoom, your connection, my connection, the Zoom connection.
Gotcha.
So there might be a little bit of a static here, but normally
Perfect.
for all users, it should be very smooth and instantaneous. But you know, this online stuff, we love the technology when it doesn't make our eye twitch, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm not special.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Can I point out one of my little favorite things in here is the contact support button, because we
Oh,
all
down
start
here.
with we all start with that blue chat bubble, and that's really kind of your lifeline to support. You should always go there first. But some people like me like to actually talk to somebody. So if you click on that contact support button, it tells you 3 different ways to get a hold of us. You can use the blue chat bubble, you can email us, but you can also schedule by appointment only a technical call with one of our technicians and our support folks. And it is, it's not designed to be a training session. So don't go there thinking you're going to get a whole, 1-hour training session. But if you have a quick question and you need some help and you would rather talk to somebody, you just need to schedule it in advance.
Yep. And that way we can also screen share your account in case we need to walk you through something, which is also really helpful instead of trying to describe it over the phone and be like, go to the left.
Yeah, I bookmark that page right there on my desktop so that I have that available.
I love it. And then the chat schedule specifically lives in chat. So if you're ever wondering when like our average hours are for support, the chat widget has that as well. But yes, definitely bookmark this page because it is fantastic with all the resources. Let's see. So another tip for the help desk or support portal, it is very much case sensitive and specific when you're searching for articles. So if you type in landing pages for Relo, it will pull up things, articles that have, parts of and that whole sentence in it. So if you're looking for a specific tool, my usual recommendation is to just type in the very basic term for it, and that way you'll get more results and you'll be able to see all of the different options to choose from. So I now have articles like what's the difference between a squeeze page and landing page, which is great, how to create one, how to upload custom images using different platforms, because you can change the background on landing pages and so on and so forth. So that is one tip I always share, is that when you're searching for something, be specific with the actual tool name and you'll get all of the resources right at once.
You know what else is a kind of an important tip to note is that, and some folks don't know this, is that our legacy platform conversion, we changed that name to K+. And so sometimes you'll see articles in here on how to do some of those legacy platform, use those tools. So at the very beginning of the article, you'll either see kvCORE or K+. So when you're looking at the landing pages and squeeze pages, make sure that you're using the right product associated with it, because you don't want to go into an article for a platform you're not using.
For sure. Thank you for calling that out. You'll also see other platforms in here. So landing pages are specific to K+ or K+ teams, and then kvCORE. If you're searching for like your lead B pin in Core Listing Machine, it'll have that in brackets before the article. So the majority of the
Always at the
article,
beginning.
yeah. So it'll tell you what platform you're about to read and information on. And then let me jump into one of these because I also wanted to showcase down here. We love feedback. We love reviews, whether they're positive, neutral, or negative. There's either if they're positive, we are very happy that we hit the nail on the head. If they are neutral or negative, we will take that feedback and we'll learn from it. If it's specific to an article and a video, we'll go in and update it to fix the missing question or update, a screenshot, because kvCORE recently had our spring release. So we're slowly going through all the stuff to update to match the new platform. So if you had your questions answered in the article, or if you wish that it was more robust with different information, use these little emoji reactions to let us know. And those go in straight to our analytics that we review occasionally. What's the word I was looking for? Because it's not occasionally, regularly. Thank you. We review those analytics regularly to see what your feedback is. So don't be afraid to let us know either way.
Yeah, and I think in speaking to that, I mean, there's been a lot of great experiences, and I think there's been a lot of amazing conduits you have all made efforts to build in, whether it's linking to additional articles for more information and really listening a lot to the content. And I think the advantage that you have when you have this in our training situation, like we're looking at how we're presenting and what is presenting, your input as clients means a lot.
Yeah,
and we do listen,
for you.
and it might not be like at the speed perhaps that you might think, well, it needs to be done today, and I get that from a consumer point of view, but there's a lot of building blocks that have to happen sometimes to affect change. So if you haven't seen it done immediately, it's still being looked at and listened to and worked into a plan. So that much I know from behind the scenes, which is being in training the last X amount of years, and just how I've seen things in my perspective change and evolve in a pretty amazing way. So that's what I had to say there. Margo.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for calling that out.
Well, it's important.
Yeah. And I like the point that you make, Annalisa, with if it doesn't happen as soon as we would like or as soon as you were maybe expecting, that doesn't mean that it's been ignored or lost. We do keep a fairly nice list of improvements and suggestions and feedback across anything, but most importantly, our training and learning materials. So rest assured, like Annalisa said, it will happen if it needs to. If you guys need it, we will put it out there. Kelly, did you have anything else for the support portal that you wanted to mention, or?
You know what? I'm just going to give you this as just a little pro tip on the side, because sometimes we find ourselves starting something, and then life happens or the dog barks and you have to let him out, and you get sidetracked. It's like going down that rabbit hole. And there's always, like, we try to build these articles in a way to give you the content you need, but also to find additional help. So one thing that I did when I first started was I created a bookmark page, and I created a folder on my browser so that I could store all my most commonly used articles. Because, like, learning how to do smart campaigns, for example, when I first started learning how to do smart campaigns, it took me probably 2 or 3 days to go through all the content and build out all the campaigns I wanted. And so I was constantly hunting and trying to find that article in there so I could use that as a reference. But if you've got your own little library built in a folder up at the top of your most commonly used kvCORE articles, it's just going to help you. So don't be afraid to bookmark those things. Maybe you can show them how to do that, Lo. Show them how to bookmark it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that, because my little support stuff folder up here is actually just bookmark articles. So
Yep.
I was always
There you go.
helping
You've already
people
got one.
with search alerts and landing pages. And so it was a fantastic idea. The easiest way to, on Google Chrome specifically, because that's what I'm using, on this browser, if you go up to the little bar underneath your address, so wherever you type in the URL, if you right click, you can just add folder and you can name it, and it will appear up here automatically as what you named it. And then to actually bookmark a page, and you can make a folder or you can bookmark individual pages and have them show up there. Kelly and I like folders, and Annalisa, because it just makes your header bar up there a little bit more clean and easier to look through. But there's always going to be a little star icon at the very end of your URL address bar. And if you click on that, it will ask you if you want to add a bookmark. So I'm going to click add bookmark, and then you can rename it. It's automatically going to take the title of the page itself. So whatever metadata the creator went in and added it as the title, that's what it'll automatically populate to. So you can leave it as that. Or what I usually do is I title it the tool name in this specific instance. So I would say landing page, or I might abbreviate to LP versus squeeze page or SP. So I can retitle it to make sure that I know exactly what that article is talking about. And then if you have more than one folder, it'll ask you to choose one. So I would just come down here and I would throw it in support stuff, which doesn't actually come up on my real list, my short list. So I'd have to do
Or you can go to choose other folder. There you go. It pulls them all up.
Yep. And then do support stuff and then save.
And you can move those folders around. You can combine them. You can, so maybe you start with kvCORE and then you have a subfolder under it and a subfolder, and you could do all sorts of stuff. I mean, my point is just, Lo, yours are amazingly organized. Mine are not nearly that organized, but save these things, because you're going to find you're building yourself your own little cheat sheet library, because there's a few things that until you really, get the handle of whatever that new product is or that feature, you're going to want to go back and reference it.
Yep.
That's my tool of the day, tip of the day.
And we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Awesome. Let's see. I don't think we have any questions about the support portal specifically that I've seen pop up. So I'm going to transition to the next tool that you guys have access to. And specifically, this is my little baby of a project. So I love talking about the learning portal, but there's a couple of different ways to access it within kvCORE specifically. Our other platforms and tools will have a link to the learning portal, but in kvCORE specifically, there's a couple of different options that we give you guys. So one of them is still underneath the support and training tab. So there's a little call out to the learning portal underneath the support center. There's also on your dashboard another learning portal link on the top right. And then there is the specifically called out course of the Agent Success Plan. So I have to give a plug here. If you are a new user of kvCORE, or if you've been around for a while and haven't gotten to the Agent Success Plan yet, I definitely recommend to go do so. We are aware right now that it doesn't quite match the new spring release version of the platform, but that is one of the things that's high on our list to redo to match. But all of the same tools, all of the same concepts still apply to our makeover of kvCORE. So I definitely encourage everyone to go do it. And you will actually end up with Kelly again, because there are 4 live webinars that are built into this course. So you watch videos, you have a couple of tasks assigned you, and then you have a related webinar to ask questions on or to dive deeper into specific things that we say are best practices and that we've seen agents and other users have really good success with on kvCORE with those strategies, success strategies. So Kelly runs most of those actually. So you can have a little group one-on-one with her if you want. I think she's fantastic on those.
Oh, thanks. I love doing those sessions, and they're always a lot of fun. We have main themes and content. Week 1 is all about kvCORE basics, basic kvCORE 101. Week 2 is all about empowering your current business, where we talk about setting up best practices and things you can do in kvCORE to put your leads on wash, rinse, and repeat. Week 3 is all about lead generation and using the different tools to like text codes and landing pages, squeeze pages, and how to do some strategies for follow-up. And then of course, week 4 is where we wrap up the whole series with a lot of open Q&A and how to really provide commitment to the platform and how you can use kvCORE to better adopt it by maybe integrating it into some other tools you're using. You know, maybe building in a custom page that's got your booking appointment calendar on it, or you know, just tying everything together. But it is a 4-week session. And since those live training review sessions that I do, sometimes they get pretty popular and people want to take them after the Agent Success Plan. And so they are part of the training calendar that's in the live, where it says view live training calendar. Right under the Agent Success Plan link, you can get over there and sign up and join any one of the live review sessions we do. Happy to have you come back. I love seeing people that have been around for a while. They tend to give a lot more user feedback and can give some good strategies and scenarios there too.
Yeah, it's definitely an open learning situation with the group. So like Kelly said, if there are return agents to them and they have good experiences and success, they'll share them and you'll learn from each other. So it's one big happy learning group.
Yeah, it's a great place to go. If you're thinking about creating a team, or if you're a broker, or if you are you know, expanding your team or brokerage, that is the recommended first place to go to send your agents for training. Before you point them over to any other courses that are available, and we have a bunch of them, I know Lo's going to talk to you about them, send them to the Agent Success Plan first. They're going to get training right from the product specialists here, so make sure that you send them there first.
Yep, for sure. So I'm going to open up the learning portal just in general. If you click on the Agent Success Plan link, it'll bounce you right into the course page where you can click enroll and begin. But if you just look at the learning portal, and it has a similar address structure to the link. So again, if you can't access kvCORE or you want to look at it on a different browser, you can just type in learn.insiderealestate.com. So there's help for the support center, and then there's learn for the learning portal. The caveat to this, though, is the learning portal, because it goes so in depth to all of our tools and our products and just proprietary information to Inside Real Estate, it is locked. So in order to view it, you can go straight to it. But if you need to resume a course or you want to enroll in a course, you'll actually have to use the link in kvCORE or any of our other products if you have those, and that will automatically sign you in to your account on the learning portal, and then you can enroll and complete in all of the courses as you wish. So that's just the only caveat to the learning portal. But when you land on it, you will have these 3 quick start courses. So Agent Success Plan right away. If you are an admin, you have the Admin Success Plan. And as a side note on that, if you are a company or office admin in kvCORE, this will definitely be beneficial for you as it goes through some company-wide and then office-specific settings. If you are a core team admin, so you're just team admin, this can still be helpful. It gives more strategies for growing your team, helping your agents adopt kvCORE, strategies just for general success as an admin, but some of the tools that it reviews are more for company and office admin. So it's up to you guys if you want to dive into it and learn from like the strategies and concepts that are shared in there. I will share a little bit of our course roadmap coming up soon. One of the courses that we want to publish very soon, and by very soon, I mean in the next like quarter or two, is a core team admin specific course. So introducing you to your team entity in kvCORE, again, imparting strategies and concepts for growing your team, empowering your agents, and things like that. So while we don't have it out yet, it will be out pretty soon. So I'll give you a little hint there. And then if you have your lender working with you in kvCORE, we actually have a success plan for them. So if you are working with a lender and they have their own kvCORE account, and whether it's you as an agent and you're working with them directly, or you as an admin and you've added the lender to work with your agents, If you know that they haven't gone through this, I definitely encourage you to suggest that they go through it. It's like 30 minutes, I think, max to go through all of the videos, and it will show them exactly what they can do in kvCORE to help support you as the agent, what they can do for their business, and just organization of the contacts that you guys are working. So we have success plans for almost everyone. And then down below, you'll see this. Right now, we're going at a pretty fast pace for putting out courses. So right now, the last 2 quarters, we've put out an average of a course a month. So you'll see this change every 30 to 60 days. But we have a new course spotlight. So our latest one that we released at the beginning of this month, so like 2 weeks ago, was about Core Present. So if you are using Core Present, definitely dive into this one, and it'll show you, from A to Z what you can do with it. And I'll jump into a course here in a second to kind of guide you in it. But we also, with Core Present, we also have courses that speak to those who don't have it yet. So if you want to, like Kelly mentioned earlier, see a marketplace add-on like Core Present, you can go in there and get a feel for it before you spend that money. And if you see, the steps to do things and the application in your business in real life, and you're like, yeah, that's a great tool, you can do that very easily with these courses or the support articles. So you can get lots of previews of really cool tools and add-ons. Before I dive into a course, I also wanted to call out these links up here. So there is a link to our support center straight from here. So if you want to dive into a tool and look at it in a readable format, so article or an infographic that we have, you can dive straight into the support center there. We also have articles linked into the resources section of most of our courses. So you'll also have quick tips there. We have a link straight to the video library that is in the support center. So you can go straight to just our one-off videos. And we have a link to the training calendar. So you have it here, you have it in kvCORE, in a couple of different places. So you'll always have access to the calendar no matter where you are. And then my dashboard, once you're automatically logged in, this is where you would go to see all of the courses that you are either enrolled in and completing, or that you have completed. And you can very easily see your little percentage progress.
And do you want to point out, Lo, that the percentage completed is reflecting on you making sure that you're clicking that complete and continue button inside the course. So at the end of the course, if you're wondering, why didn't I get my certificate? How come it's still showing that I'm not quite done with it? You got to make sure that you're following along and pushing those buttons in the video, because if you don't, it's going to still show as outstanding that you need to complete it. And this information, that, well, at least for the Agent Success Plan anyway, because it is kind of one of our most important getting started courses. We actually have it, the analytics built into the business analytics of your kvCORE dashboard. And it migrates up to the broker level as well. So I know a lot of brokers like to monitor whether their agents have completed it, started it, or maybe didn't even start it. So I want to make sure that you're following along and clicking that complete and continue button if you're taking those courses. Make sure you get credit for it.
Yes, for sure. And that's usually one of the number one things that we get asked, like the training team in general. And it's normally I go into their account and I'm just like, oh, on the last lesson, you didn't click the button, but you're good to go now. So with that being said, let's go to, I'm going to go into the Agent Success Plan, and I'm just going to click resume course. And I'm going to pause the video that's going to come up.
And I do love the fact that it takes you right back to where you left off. So again, these are designed to be self-paced. If you don't have the time to finish it right away, you can pause, go grab your lunch, go show a house, and then come back and finish it off later.
Yep. And they're both the learning portal and the support center are mobile compatible. So you can read the video, you can read the article, watch the videos, or go through the course on your mobile device. I would say that the learning portal works better on a desktop or a laptop, but you can definitely do it on the go when you're, waiting to begin your open house, or you're waiting for one of your clients to meet you at a house that you're going to show them. So it's very, very diverse. You have options. We love options here. So what Kelly was talking about earlier with the complete and continue button is down here at the bottom of every lesson. You'll want to complete that and the course will automatically go on to the next lesson. And if it's a video, it'll autoplay. One important thing that I always see is that on the lessons where it's not a video, so it's a PDF handout or it's a written lesson, or it's a survey or a quiz, you still have to check complete and continue at the bottom. And some of them will be required. So on some of our courses, you'll see that we've worked in little quizzes to help retain the knowledge that we're throwing at you all at once. And those will be required. So you have to go through them and then click complete and continue. If on those lessons you haven't clicked that button and you try to go to the next lesson manually, so like I just did, I'm just bouncing around lessons by clicking on them directly. If there is a required lesson, you can't go into a section further than that lesson until you click that button at the end. So if that ever happens to you, if you're like, why can't I get past this lesson? You just have to click the little green button at the bottom and you'll be good to go.
And pro tip, there's some resources built in that are downloadable PDFs. So if you ever get to something that says PDF on it, there's a little button in the upper right corner before you expand it out. It's the download button. Make sure you download it and print it out. I find them to be very helpful to kind of keep a library of those as well. And if you do any type of training for your team, these are great resources for you to use in your training sessions.
Yep. Include them in your new agent onboarding packet. If you have like a physical binder or folder of stuff that you give them, you can have these automatically in there. There are some courses that have infographics. So like Core Present has like 3 or 4, and it's quick tips on how to do things, or it's like a vocabulary list to make sure that you understand what we're talking about. And you can have those printed out, like 10 of them just around your office to encourage, use of that tool. Or as an agent, you can like pin them up on your like cork board or put them on your fridge, wherever you're working right now, to remind you of the terms, or just have quick steps to reference right next to you. Let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention is just the basic structure of the courses. So there isn't really a video or an article explaining the learning portal and how to get through courses. So sometimes users have questions about, well, how do I successfully complete it? Or what do I do when it starts? Just to briefly go over that, you'll see at the highest level are different sections. So for the agent success plan, we have your introduction, and then we have each subsequent week. And then at the end of each of those weeks, you'll see a lesson where it's that success webinar registration that we talked about earlier. So after you jump into a specific section, then you see a list of the lessons under that section. And those are the ones that you'll need to click the complete and continue at the bottom. Very, very important to also do that on the very last lesson of the very last section, because the majority of the time it's a resources lesson like this one. So it's a text or a written lesson that shows you other resources. So articles, other videos. We might link out to another course that dives into one particular thing that we talked about in the course and kind of give you more information on that one thing. So at the very bottom of this one, you'll still want to click complete and continue. Otherwise, when you go back to your dashboard, you won't have your completion certificate and it'll say like 98 or 99% complete. Just keep that in mind. And then all of these will link you out to different courses, link you out to different articles or one-off videos for further learning. So all of it is interconnected. Kelly or Annalisa, did we have anything else that you wanted to highlight within a course or about the learning portal?
You know what, can you maybe show them a little bit about what some of the other suggested courses are? Because I sometimes feel like people don't know that there's stuff beyond the agent success plan, and there's some really good courses in here. Even if you just want to learn how to do some simple social media protocol. I mean,
that's what I was going to say.
That's my favorite. I always pull that in there. There's 2 in there. That one and the, what's the other one, Annalisa?
Well, there's 2 that I always recommend, especially now that we've had a year of a pandemic. The first of which is virtual. So they can go up to the upper left-hand side where it says all courses, kind of just to the left of the logo up there. And when you click on that, you have a little search box. And that's where you can type in like open houses or virtual open house. And this is gold, or actually platinum. How to
Yeah, I
create
love
and
this one.
promote virtual open house events. This is amazing. And it's a free course we provide. And it was designed by Ryan Hartman and with input from all of us, from account managers to training to sales, to make sure we brought in our expertise and brought it into focus. And it goes through A to Z of what do I have to think about? How do I execute this? And how do I follow up with it? So we try to provide that, first to last step. And then the other one that's really great is the social media protocol for converting
my
leads.
favorite.
And it is also tremendous because there's a lot of folks like I've been talking to recently in coaching that are like, oh, I'm not sure about social media. I don't use it myself, so I haven't really done it for my business. And I think I encourage people to take a look at this because as a consumer, like I hear people on Pinterest and it works for a lot of people. It's not something me as a consumer relate to. However, you're going to have consumers out there who are going to relate to Pinterest or who are using Twitter, or who are using LinkedIn or Facebook. And I think if you change your perspective on the outreach power you have there, it could help you bring business in or continue or start conversations. So, I think when you're looking at that, just because you don't cotton with it as a person doesn't mean that you shouldn't use it for your own business to attract different types of contacts out there.
100%. I
yeah,
totally
and
agree.
That's a great point.
It's just kind of changing the perspective. Or some people like, I hate emojis. I can't stand emojis on posts. Well, great. You as a consumer can hate on those suckers all you want. But if you're going to relate to people who are used to seeing emojis being
In the
peppered on,
masses.
right, and respond to it, if you're not using them, you might be missing an opportunity to start a conversation. So
Right.
it's just kind of repositioning the perspective of my personal life and social media and my business focus for social media. And like when Ryan and I did our session on Pinterest, it's 70% women or female users who are making decisions for their household. So
That's
you could have a
huge.
pretty big impact there on women who might be stay-at-home mothers and teaching the kids and running the household, or even dads or whomever it is partnering up with that. And they're using this as like their outlet to research things.
Yep.
You could be providing information right there that can help them in their life and lead to your community expertise and knowledge. So, think about those different types of facets and how you can represent yourself.
So the
Yeah,
nice thing
sure.
about these courses is that yes, there's lots that are broken down specifically by product, but this is one of those ones that really crosses over into the real world and allows you to just expand your marketing expertise. So I love that one. I also really like which one is it? The converting your kvCORE contacts into leads with conversations and closings.
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
yeah. That's
I
the lead CPR. You're
That's lead
staying alive.
CPR. That's exactly. I want to
Yeah,
put on
yeah, there
there
you go.
lead CPR. Tell them about this one, Annalisa. This is one of my favorites.
Well, this goes hand in hand. So when you are a newer agent and you're importing leads into kvCORE, or maybe they're leads or contacts that have been in your sphere for years, or prospect, and you're like, oh, these are junk leads. Bleh. It's really easy just to dismiss them and be like, I'm be gone, you. But however, perhaps consider that you can import these folks and then use the tools outlined within this course to try and give them a little lead CPR, give it a little massage, and start re-engaging with these folks. And give it a chance, because a lead is a lead is a lead. It's only a junk lead if you don't work it or identify that it is a junk lead.
Yep. A lead is simply, by definition,
later.
somebody that you may or may not do business with.
Yep.
That's it. That's all a lead is. Somebody you're going to work with or you don't. But if you're not doing anything, the answer is always going to be no, my friends.
Yep. And we don't want no's. We want, and a no, like when you hear it, could mean no today, right?
Yeah.
But not necessarily no every day. So it's just a matter of finding what they're seeking and providing that information.
Exactly. So I think this one's a good one. And I'll tell you just a basic one that really helped me just kind of get my head around things like newsletters or Sending out just listed announcements or things like that, things that I wanted to really kind of spice up a little bit in my smart campaigns or in my one-off emails or just scheduling a mass email is the advanced email editor course. And that one is short, it's sweet, but there's so many little hidden Easter eggs in that tool in kvCORE that unless you take this course, it's not even going to really open up your mind to what they are. So I really encourage you to take the advanced email editor course.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
agreed.
if you need like enticement to check it out, you can actually create a mass scheduled email for a new listing in under 5 minutes. All you do is open up the template, slap in that MLS code, choose your audience, date and time, and set it up, and you're done. Everything is built for you. So there's all sorts of templates, whether it's for a new listing, an open house, a newsletter. You
Re-engaging
just,
new leads.
yeah, it's just really, it's built to be quick for you to use so you can go on about your daily business.
Yep. And on all of those points are fantastic. Going back to the social media and the different ideas that we might have to work in to reach different audiences like Pinterest. I love blog posts, both as a consumer and as a business person. And so a lot of agents that I talk to kind of get hesitant when I bring up blog posts because a lot of people think, oh, you have to write a lot and be good at writing.
You have to
just
be
in
an English
general.
major.
I have to have like extensive knowledge on all these topics. And then some are just like, I don't know where to begin. I can write and I'm fine with that, but what do I write about? So there's actually, going back to the support center, if I go to the right place, there is a blog posting article, and my other little sneak peek for the roadmap is to at some point have a blog posting course to kind of dive into this idea deeper. But there are how to create blog posts on your website, throw some statistics at you, and then creating content. So this is a really good article to kind of get an idea of where to start. And all of the studies and statistics that are showing just that the viewers and the number of organic traffic and organic leads that come from blog posts, even if you don't have lead capture specifically on that page, it will attract people who normally would never look at a real estate website for that specific information. So something that we suggest are the 5 tips that new sellers make, or the 5 most important things that new home buyers should know about, and just any general information about the industry. And you can also go the other way. You can take it out of real estate and you can post about your community events and entice people that way as well. So you have a lot of different options and variety for bringing people to you and to your website and to your information, and they'll keep coming back. It
I
all
think
shows
that's
that
one
they
of the
keep coming
things I
back.
like about our support center and the learning portal is that it's not just a instruction manual. Here's the functionality. Here's how you push the buttons. We really try hard in our training and learning and development department to give you strategies in there as well. And just by the fact that you're here on the Next Level Mastermind, it's showing that you already recognize that the strategies are just as important as the learning the functionality. So when you approach using the support portal and the learning courses from that perspective, just the amount of knowledge and insight you're going to get that's going to apply into your own business is going to transfer so much easier. So I really encourage you to kind of, use our learning portal course as your own coach. I mean, you can go in here and learn something new about kvCORE and get at least 2 or 3 strategies on how to use that particular aspect of kvCORE just from the article itself.
We even have a growth strategies section
We
specifically
do.
for those courses.
We do.
So
Speaking of blogs, because Annalisa, blogs are one of my favorite things. Have we done a next level on blogs in a while?
Not yet, and I do believe it's time because I know people do kind of
Nice.
overthink it, and I'm always like, it could be a listing, it could be using community information from your chamber of commerce, it could be a video,
Let's
it
put
could
that on
be
our roadmap.
anything.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do one on next level on blogging because I love blogging and I got some ideas for that one.
I am into it. And that actually brings me back to when we were first talking about giving suggestions for articles and videos and giving us feedback. We would also appreciate your feedback on what you want us to cover on our next level strategies webinars. If you have something that we mentioned but haven't dived into yet, or something that we've had in the past and we haven't had one webinar on that topic for a month or two, let us know and we will put it in rotation.
I know. I would love to hear from you guys. Do you all is there any particular article or something about kvCORE that you think maybe we should be, that should be the next on our roadmap? Because I know Lo's going to talk to you about the roadmap, but I'd love to hear from you all on what you'd like to see as a learning portal course, or if there's an article or a strategy you'd like to see us tackle, because we want to keep it fresh for you guys too. So if you don't have a question, maybe you just pop in a couple of suggestions on what we can add into the learning portal. We'd love to do that for you.
Idea. And on that point, I will share a couple of things about the roadmap for learning portal courses specifically. Let me bring this up here. So we have that will be released at the end of this month. We have a course coming up on daily calls and task management. So if you have ever wanted to learn more about those specific features, how to leverage them successfully for your business to stay on top of everything, or if you just want strategies, we have a lot of different strategies for being successful with your daily calls, strategies for using your tasks as reminders for different things, for different types of contacts you'll come across. So that is coming up at the end of this month. And then I'm not going to promise any dates per se, but the next two on our list of courses to make is one is going to be about the WordPress plugin. So if you have a WordPress website outside of kvCORE, or you're interested in it, or you just want to learn about the plugin and your options available to you for your website in general, we're going to have a course on that, talking about how to use it, strategies, some tips. We'll also talk about, in that one specifically, whether or not the plugin is just a good idea for you and your business in general, because not everyone is going to use it the same way. And a lot of agents, don't need a full WordPress site. They generate leads just fine on the normal template. And then the next one after that, we will be reviewing playbooks. So we're going to be building out a course on the new listing promotion playbook that we recently released with the spring release. So we'll walk through that. Again, more strategies along with the how-to-dos and some examples and walking through everything. So I'm super stoked about the playbooks course, but we'll have the WordPress plugin overview out before that. And then just some other general topics that aren't necessarily in this order, but some things I wanted to throw at you guys are website settings overview. So we do have a course that talks about website settings that is already published. So there's this course that says editing your website settings in kvCORE. We have plans to go in and kind of give it a little fresh makeover. So we're going to talk about the new settings that have been released within the last year and a half. Talk about the website itself to kind of get you familiar with that and your options. And then we are also, and we are super ecstatic to have this on our list finally, smart campaigns. We're going to have 2 smart campaign courses coming out. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There will be little announcements in the chat box as we publish those, and on the landing page or the front page of the learning portal course, that course spotlight, it'll change as those are released. So I'm super excited for everything that's coming out.
Well, this has been absolutely amazing. And yeah, Gina Marie's like,
everyone's excited about
course.
campaigns.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's so much. I think like myself, like when Kelly mentioned earlier today, like when the smart campaigns first came out, my eyeball was like rolling back in my head, like, what is this? And it does take a little bit of adjusting to get your pattern down on how you create them and how you think of them. And if you just jump in without training or without looking at the articles, it is a little difficult. So, they're going to do like a basics course and then like an advanced course. Isn't that the plan?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. A lot
And I
of
think
getting
it's going to
started.
be incredible. And one of our trainers, Christina, came up with a wonderful metaphor about smart campaigns that you've probably heard me discuss. It's just basically a smart campaign in a nutshell. The name is your recipe name, or like your like if you're going to create something to eat, like a recipe. So you could say like the recipe name is the name of my smart campaign. And then everything I put into the smart campaign are my ingredients.
And the
So
step-by-step instructions on when to add them and when they
yes,
go out.
right. So you've got the order of like what it is mainly, and then what's going to happen within this, so we can dish out this goodness of, you know, a message to folks, right? So that kind of is a metaphor. Someone was like, this is your taco shell, and these are all the fixings that go into the taco shell. And then we're all hungry because it's lunchtime, but I digress. But
Where's my
basically,
taco?
right, exactly. So it's just kind of a different way of thinking about it that gives you like, okay, I can relate to this. It's like a recipe. How am I going to create this dish? And when do these things get added or folded in to create the ultimate entree you're going to serve them up? And that's my last metaphor of the day.
That's a good metaphor, though.
It's probably a lie, but you know,
We're
I
gonna
don't know.
need to use it in the actual course.
Yeah,
I'll work
Yeah,
in
sure.
you'll know
tacos
that came from
somehow.
Annalisa and
Yeah,
Christina, because
yep,
that's what they like to they share.
it
But I
works.
do think that you know, if you took the time to just check out a course or two, you know, for those of you that are team leaders or admins or thinking about doing that, or maybe you just have an interest in training and you want to, you know, train other agents in your office, each one of these courses is seriously, if you picked one course and use that as your training topic of the month or the week, at your next sales meeting, you have training content in here that'll last you throughout the year. There is enough in here that you don't have to even think about a training program. We have so much in here that you can use, whether it's an article, there's 700 of them, or a course. There's something for everybody on how to use or strategize using kvCORE. So I
Yep.
really encourage you to use that and leverage that, because you know part of what we're doing in here is, you know, trying to think out of the box. That's why you're in here. It's next level stuff. It's thinking out of the box.
Yep. And I wanted to, since you brought up this webinar, before we run out of time, I wanted to loop back on the live webinars and the training calendar. So hopefully everyone on here got to this session through the training calendar, but if you haven't, or if sometimes the calendar comes up and you're just like, there's a lot of options, I don't know which one to do, you have the live training calendar link on your kvCORE dashboard. And when you open it, it has this huge long list of options. And make sure to double check the time zone, because sometimes you'll see it in your zone. Google likes to default this calendar to East Coast time. So if you're not on the East Coast, it'll be a little calculation in your head. So what I usually do is I actually click on this to go to the registration page, and that you can change to your time zone so you know exactly when it is. But we have a ton of options. Some of them, like we mentioned earlier, like Kelly's agent success plan reviews, those are course specific. And then we have courses that aren't specific, or webinars that aren't specific to courses. And most of the time in the webinar description, it will say if it is or isn't related to a course. So if you read the information about it, little sentences, paragraphs here and there, you'll know if there is a course to take that we will be reviewing on that call, or if it's just an open session. So any of the ones that say this admin success plan review and the agent success plan, these different weeks, these are all related to the admin and agent success plan courses. We also have the Core Present live demo right here. This one is a little bit of both. There is a course that goes along with it that we just published last month that's on our spotlight. But this particular webinar, you can go to the course first, or you can go to the course after this webinar, because we walk you through the tool and we dive into, again, more strategies and take any questions that you might have from already using it. So that's kind of the idea with most of the webinars, is that you can come and bring all of your questions that are related to that topic. Or you can just learn more about that topic or that tool if it's tool specific before diving into an actual course or reading more articles. And I know a lot of users like to go back to the topic specific or the tool specific sessions to learn from each other. Like Kelly was saying, if they come back and they have had success, They'll share that with us. And then if someone has an issue that maybe a lot of people are running into, or maybe they're just confused about how to use something successfully, but you're the only one that's actually going to ask the question and it benefits the rest of the group, go ahead and do that. We love doing that. Anything,
One thing to
Kelly?
note, this is a Google Calendar, by the way. So you can go up and change it. If you don't want to view it this way, there's just, a couple little things. You can view it by month or week or whatever. You can change the viewing. It's over on the, you can see it there on the left side. You can also see it on the right-hand side. You can change it over to a weekly view, a monthly view, whatever works for you. So if you're just like, hey, you know what, I got some time on Tuesday, let's see what courses are available. Pop in and just sign up and register for one. And
I
by
love
the
the
way,
week
we're not
view.
the only trainers here. I'm not one of the, Anna and Elise and I are, we've been around the block for a while, so we're a couple senior trainers here, but we do have a fantastic training team. And I really encourage you to sit in on as many live webinars so you can get to know the training team. One thing we all have in common is that we're all very passionate about our jobs and we want to see you succeed. So join one of Brett Kay or Christian Demain or Christina Hampton's training webinars as well. I try to jump in on as many as I can. That's why I jumped in today, because I like to keep my saw sharpened as well. But thank you, Annalisa, for having me today. I appreciate it as always.
Yeah, I'm
you.
glad to have this. And I think going forward, just so everyone knows, myself and Ryan and I and Kelly and Lo, we're all working towards putting a voice and a face to the Department of Training, to the Department of Engagement, to Inside Real Estate. And I think this is one of those big steps towards that. So I think the more you can relate to us and be like, hey, they're real people who do care and they're invested. I mean, that's what we are all about as trainers. We're, I guess, by default, people pleasers, and we want you to succeed. Like I used to say that I'm selfish because I chose being a trainer as a career, because your success means I succeeded. But you get the idea. It's kind of like how you get someone successfully into house makes you feel great because you enabled that process. So it's the same type of investment that I feel that you might feel with one of your transactions as an agent. So it is important that we have these dialogues and we're openly communicating. And I just appreciate everyone who could be here. If you're listening in the future, hello. And with that, we do need to close out. So yes, Gina's like, I love it. And I think she probably said it that way. I'm just adding like my inflection to it.
I like it.
I saw the exclamation point.
Yeah,
I believe it.
So Lo and Kelly, thank you so much for doing this. We'll have more guests on in the future, whether they're from product, training, account managers. We want to make sure everyone's sharing their expertise and what's helped them, help other people be successful. So that's what we're all about this year and going forward. So thank you so much. We will get this up on the next level when Ryan returns tomorrow. And then we'll also get this posted into the discussion group when the video is ready as well. So thanks for being here, everybody. And we will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.